Chile is dreaming big in terms of green hydrogen. We have a declared goal of produce the cheapest green hydrogen by 2030 and to be one of the most relevant exporters of green hydrogen in the near future. So it's a good question to ask why Chile, that is such a small country, is so committed to green hydrogen. And I think that the answer metaphorically can be gave by the hydrogen itself that has learned us, teach us that the size is not relevant in terms of energy capacity or potential. And and if we try to explain why Chile is so committed or so ambitious in its goal, I think it's a combination of factors. One factor is from the energy transition that we have faced in the last decade. If you go back to 28, you will see a very concentrated energy matrix, few players and heavily dependent to fossil fuels. And now in 2021, we have a much more diversified matrix with different players, different sizes, different technologies. And I think that clearly set the table for this next step, which is green hydrogen. Also, the reason why we are so enthusiastic with this sector is because we see and we have identified a big potential in terms of our renewable energy capacity. According to the calculations of the Ministry of Energy, we have the potential to install 70 times the installed capacity we have today. And of course, that potential is driven by radiation, by solar in the northern part of Chile, by the wind that we have in the south. And so we have that potential, but at the same time, we do realize that we are a small country and our energy consumption is limited. So we need to figure out how to produce something that we can export. And there is where the green hydrogen is the point that is matching the dots. And finally, it's not only potential and renewable energy, but it's also that we are every day more aware of the importance of sustainable development, on fighting against climate change and reduce greenhouse emissions. And if we realize that, at least in Chile, more than 70% of the greenhouse emissions are from the energy sector and 11% are from the transportation sector, we really find this opportunity to use our renewable energy potential to do the electrolysis that allow us to separate, of course, the hydrogen from the oxygen and to use this energetic power. And finally, it's important to say that this is not only a goal or a dream. Chile, I think, is doing the right things. Just as a highlight, and then we can go in details in the Q&A round, is that Chile launched in November 2020 our Green Hydrogen National Strategy, which is kind of a roadmap of where we are today or where we want to be in 2050. We are adapting our regulation for this new sector. In early this year, we enacted the energy efficiency law, where we granted powers to the Ministry of Energy so they can design and implement this new regulation. We are also aware that financing is a big part of the industry, and in earlier stages is also obviously more important. That is why Corfo, which is the National Development Agency of Chile, has called for a financing process to award $50 million by the end of this year to electrolyzers projects that will enter into operation not far away, but in 2025. So we will see concrete projects very close by. And also, I think that Chile is trying to find alliances. Chile has executed during the last semester agreements with Singapore that could be an important buyer of green hydrogen, also with Germany to exchange experiences, technologies, and also one agreement that I found particularly interesting is the agreement reached with the port of Rotterdam, because if you if you want to be a relevant player from this corner of the world, logistics are key, and that's why we are figuring out how to transport in an efficient way this green hydrogen to the world. And finally, one thing is policy, our strategy, regulation, financing, partnerships, and also the good news is that this is not just papers. We are seeing the first pilot projects to become a reality in Chile. We have this project in the south, in Punta Arenas, which is an e-methanol plant that was recently approved, and it's a combination between companies like Siemens, Enel, Porsche, HIF, ENAP, and also in the last weeks, we have seen this alliance between ENGIE and Walmart to put in place a green hydrogen facility in a distribution center here in Santiago. So I think that things are moving in Chile, and we are very enthusiastic about talking and exchanging experience in this sector.